The sun had not yet risen over the quiet alleys of Arifwala. The sky was painted in cold blue and the city still slept, but Milo was awake. The silver cat with one green and one amber eye sat by a broken window, watching the horizon. His fur shimmered faintly as the first rays of light tried to break through the mist. Today felt different. The silence carried a weight that pressed against his heart. He turned his gaze toward an empty corner near the door. That was where Luna used to sit, his best friend, a small white cat who always purred first thing every morning. It had been 3 days since Luna vanished. Milo hadn't eaten properly since. The food bowl remained untouched, water still. Every small sound outside made him flinch, hoping it was her returning. The streets outside were still damp from last night's rain. Milo stepped out quietly, paws pressing into the soft mud. He could smell faint traces of Luna's scent, mixed with something metallic and strange. It led him toward the old railway tracks at the edge of the city. The sound of distant trains echoed faintly, blending with the morning wind. As he walked, a voice played softly inside his mind. A memory. Luna's soft tone. "Promise me, Milo, no matter what happens, you won't give up," he whispered back, voice trembling. "I promised, Luna, I won't." He reached the railway yard. The air was heavy with oil and rust. Crows perched on broken poles, watching silently. Milo followed the scent until it stopped near a puddle. He froze. A small blue ribbon lay half buried in the mud. Luna's ribbon. He picked it up gently, eyes wide, heart pounding. Around it were faint paw prints, then tire marks, then nothing. He felt his chest tighten. The sound of his breathing grew loud in his ears. The world blurred for a moment. He sat down, clutching the ribbon between his paws. Then he heard it, a soft mechanical hum behind him. He turned quickly. A black car stood at the edge of the yard. Its engine was running, headlights dim. The window rolled down slowly. A man's hand flicked out a cigarette. Milo's fur bristled, his tail stiffened. The man's wristband reflected in the dim light, a golden bracelet shaped like a crescent. That symbol. He had seen it before, on the collar tag of the stranger's dog that used to chase Luna. Milo stepped back. His claws dug into the dirt. The car began to move slowly away. Milo's heart burned with rage and fear, but he stayed still. The man turned his head once toward Milo before driving off into the fog. The cat stood there, trembling, clutching the ribbon, his eyes cold and filled with fire. The wind carried dust and echoes of metal. "This isn't over," he whispered. Night returned to Arifwala like a shadow that refused to fade. The streets glowed faintly under weak yellow lights. Milo sat on a wall overlooking the road, Luna's blue ribbon tied around his paw. The air smelled of dust, smoke, and secrets. He hadn't rested. Every sound felt sharper, every movement in the dark felt suspicious. His eyes, one green and one amber, gleamed with a quiet fury. The black car haunted his thoughts. The man with the golden crescent bracelet. That image replayed again and again. Milo had followed the tire marks for miles before they vanished near the city's junkyard. The junkyard, and a place no animal dared to go. But Milo had nothing left to fear. He had already lost everything that mattered. He jumped down silently and began to move through narrow alleys. The city was half asleep. A milkman cycled past, unaware of the small silver cat stalking the shadows. Dogs barked from behind gates. Somewhere far away, a baby cried. The world moved on, but for Milo, time had stopped 3 nights ago. He reached the junkyard gates. Rusted iron, half broken, creaked as he squeezed through. The smell was strong, gasoline, oil, blood. His whiskers twitched. He could sense something living nearby. He crouched low, moving between piles of metal. A faint light flickered ahead, a small fire inside a makeshift shed. Milo crept closer. Inside the shed sat an old cat, scarred and blind in one eye. His fur was black and tangled. He spoke before Milo could. "You're not from here. I can hear it in your steps." Milo hesitated. "I'm looking for a man. He drives a black car and wears a golden crescent bracelet." The old cat raised his head. "You shouldn't be here, Silver One." "The man you seek. He doesn't just take. He owns." "Owns what?" Milo asked. "Everything that disappears," the old cat said. "Cats, dogs, even people. He sells them. The bracelet is his mark." Milo's claws dug into the floor. His tail flicked. "Where is he?" The old cat sighed. "There's an abandoned warehouse near the canal. He keeps the cages there, but be careful." Many went looking. None returned. Milo turned to leave, but the old cat added softly, "If you find her, don't look into her eyes for too long. The dead don't always want to be remembered." Those words struck deep, but Milo ignored the chill that ran through his spine. He walked back into the night, faster this time, the blue ribbon brushing against his paw like a heartbeat. By dawn, he reached the canal. The warehouse stood silent, large and gray against the pale light. Its windows were shattered, doors chained. The sound of dripping water echoed inside. Milo slipped through a hole in the side wall. The air was damp and cold. Inside, he saw metal cages lined along the wall, empty. But on one of them, written in scratches, was a single word. "Milo." He froze. His fur rose. He moved closer. The scratches were fresh. His name wasn't just written. It was carved by Luna's claws. And beneath it, hidden under straw, was a small piece of torn fabric with a faint scent of Luna and the same metallic odor from the yard. Then, a soft sound broke the silence, the faint whir of the same black car engine outside. Milo turned toward the sound, heart pounding, eyes glowing in the dark. He whispered under his breath, voice low but sharp, "Luna, I found him."
Rain poured over Arifwala like a curtain of silver. The night smelled of wet dust and iron. Milo crouched near the warehouse door, his silver fur soaked, blue-tinted in the cold light. His green and amber eyes glowed faintly through the darkness. The sound of the black car's engine echoed, stopping just outside. The door creaked open. A man stepped out, tall, wrapped in a dark coat. On his wrist, the golden crescent bracelet gleamed under the lightning. He carried a cage in one hand, empty, swinging like a cruel joke. Milo stayed still. His claws pressed into the ground. His heart thudded so loud he feared the man might hear it. The man walked inside, humming softly. The same tune Luna used to hum when she watched the rain. Milo's tail flicked. It was him. There was no doubt now. The man set the cage down and turned. "You again," he muttered, noticing the cat in the shadows. "Silver fur. One green eye. One amber. You should have stayed away." Milo stepped into the light, soaked but steady. "Where is she?" His voice trembled, not from fear but rage. The man chuckled. "Talk all you want, little one. I've dealt with your kind before." The man reached for a metal rod. Milo leaped before he could raise it. Claws slashed across his coat. The man stumbled back, shouting. Milo landed on a table, eyes locked on him, fur raised like fire. The room spun with noise and movement, falling metal, the crack of thunder outside, the man's heavy footsteps chasing him. He darted across the cages, fast and low. The man swung the rod again, smashing a cage open. Something small rolled out, a broken collar. Luna's collar. The tiny bell still attached, silent now. Milo froze. His breath caught. He looked at it, then back at the man. The truth hit him like a blade. Luna hadn't been taken by chance. She had been bait. "A test! You used her!" Milo growled, voice deep and trembling. The man laughed, wiping blood from his arm. "She scratched me once. So I taught her what happens when animals fight back." The words burned. Milo's muscles tensed. He leaped again, faster this time, straight at the man's face. The bracelet tore loose in the struggle, falling to the ground with a clink. The man slipped, hitting the floor. The car keys rolled across the wet concrete. Milo's eyes flicked to the keys, then the bracelet. He pressed his paw on it. The golden crescent, now smeared with blood, gleamed one last time. The man crawled backward, fear finally in his eyes. Milo didn't attack again. He just stood there, staring, not at him, but beyond him to the wall behind. There, scratched deep into the metal, were Luna's last words. "Run, Milo!" Lightning flashed. Thunder followed. The car outside burst into flames. The man shouted and ran toward it. Milo stayed still, watching the fire rise, eyes reflecting the orange glow. The warehouse filled with heat, smoke, and the sound of breaking glass. The world burned, but inside him something finally calmed. He stepped toward the door. The rain met him again, washing away the ash. He carried Luna's bell in his mouth and the ribbon tied tight around his paw. The sun began to rise, weak but steady. For the first time in days, he breathed deeply. Luna was gone. But her voice stayed in the rain, in the wind, in every echo of the city. He looked back one last time, whispering softly, "You can rest now." "Luna! I found him." Then he walked into the sunrise, silver fur glowing against the gold of dawn,